everybody and welcome to the DNL35 channel. The subject today is one of my favorites, which is engine oil. Yes, engine oil. There's a lot of misconceptions out there saying that the engine oil should be changed every 15,000 kilometers, 10,000 kilometers, whatever that is. Now, I'm not gonna say that's right or wrong. I'm just gonna say that myself and I, personally, I don't believe in having an engine oil inside of the engine for that long, 15,000 Ks. Yes, maybe BMW does it because they know the engine would last for the first 100,000 kilometers if you do change the oil every 15,000 Ks. But it's a little bit too much in my opinion. So, what we're gonna be doing today is I'm driving the X5M. The engine has been rebuilt at exactly 1,000 kilometers ago. And I'm gonna be dropping the engine oil. The engine oil, not the engine. No, thank you. I don't wanna be dropping the engine ever again. But yeah, we're gonna be dropping off the engine oil. We're going to analyze it. We're gonna see how good or how bad it is, and we're gonna be putting some fresh oil and a fresh oil filter in it. So let's see what's gonna happen next. Now, unfortunately, we don't have access to a hoist today, so I kind of had to improvise and come here, which is the place where I work, and we're gonna have to drop the oil here. Ideally, I would like to put the car in a hoist, up in the air, had a good look underneath of the car, because as I say, it's been 1,000 kilometers since the engine is being rebuilt, but it's not gonna be the case today, so let's get on to the oil thing. Alright, so this is your sump plug and this is your oil filter cap, and I believe this is a number 6 or number 7. It is in fact number 7, so you need a 7mm Allen key for this guy. Now the old one still got the little screw on the cap in order just to bleed it. We don't really want to do that. Either way, if you do have one with a little bolt in it, that's going to be a number 6, so it's a 6mm. We aren't doing that today, and well, let me tell you this, I'm not really impressed because I've actually done this engine myself, but it's not very often that you see a 163,000 kilometers BMW without a single oil leak. Beautiful. Now I'm sure there's gonna be a bit of oil coming down, and just need to be careful not to drop too much oil out. Oh yes! Oh, it's hot. It is hot. It's really hot actually. Oh, yeah, it would be a good idea to wait a little bit longer for the engine to cool down. But either way, it is what it is. Oh yes, beautiful! Up it goes. Yeah, that's exactly what I needed. Come back here. It's hot. Man, this thing is really hot. Like, piping hot. I'll get something to grab that. Now let's try to open up this filter and see if we can find something unusual inside, because yeah, you know, we never know. You come with me, and you come with me too. You come with me too. Alright, so we got the old oil filter out, oil filter cap out, and this is what we are replacing today. First thing we're going to be replacing is the sump, the main sump bolts, and the reason being is this is a 7mm Allen. The old one is a little bit stripped out. I don't want to get to the point where I cannot remove that bolt until I go and buy a new one. That's $3.50, so it makes no sense not to replace it. Second thing is obviously the oil filter. This is a BMW filter. It was just the same price as the other ones, so I got the BMW, even though I know it's not manufactured by BMW, it's manufactured by Hengst. We are going to get a brand new oil filter in, and the third thing that we are going to replace is the oil filter cap. The reason being is this is made of plastic. Again, the car has 160,000 kilometers. I can only imagine how many heat cycles this has been to. And this was relatively cheap. I think I paid $40, $42 for these. It's a Vaco, by the way. That's the brand. So I used some of these parts before. It should be alright. And they are pretty much the same. The only difference is that this one doesn't have that bolts on the bottom, which is normally used for draining the remaining of oil that is in here before you remove and replace the filter. But chances are, more likely than not, this is going to be stripped out, as this one is, and you're not going to be able to remove this anyway, so you are going to be taking this off to replace the filter, just as you do with this one. But in fact, the other reason why I'm replacing this is, if you look on the bottom here, this little round thing, this is a pressure relief valve, and that is one of the reasons, actually that is the reason why, if you look into a brand new filter, if you look up close, you're going to be able to see that there is another metal mesh, there's a metal filter inside, and you go, oh, why there's a filter inside the filter? It's because if this scenario ever happens, that the filter gets too clogged up and the oil is not flowing in anymore, that's going to create too much pressure on the outside, and this relief valve just opens and let the oil bypass the filter. So the oil bypasses the filter through this little valve, it goes through this little mesh filter in there, and then back into the engine, rather than just starving the engine. So yeah, that's the reason why you're replacing. If you're ever doing this yourself, just remember to put this side. I think it cannot go the other way around. Either way, the mesh filter goes in here like this, and then this goes back into the car, which is what we're gonna do now. Now, what you want to do, and I just remember I forgot to do it actually, was to loop up this O-ring when you put the filter back in. Luckily, there is still a little bit of oil that dripped just out there, so I'm going to be using that oil. And you put all the way around the seal, just so it slides in easily. It should anyway, because that thing is full of oil. In fact, so I'm going to have to kind of clean it up before I finish these. But I'm going to try to get away all this oil so I can see. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, a few people say that this could be done by hand, and I believe in it, because that is not really tight at all. But if you have the tool, why not just use it? Anyways, which we are going to. So that goes in. Oh, come back. Come back. already. Now we're gonna put the new plug in. Jesus, man, I promised myself I'll never work like these under a car again. I just can't get through it. Every now and then there's something to be done, and here I am. Okay, you get out there, because I need to torque it. Now, very important, this guy gets torqued to 40 Newton meters. Make sure you do it right, because you don't want it to leak and you don't want to strip that bolt. So, that's 40. Yeah, there you go, 40 Newton meters, and we're good to go. Now let's fill it up with a new oil, and more importantly, let's take this oil out, because I want to have a good look through it and see if we find something unusual. Yeah, it's dark, but who knows? Who knows? Alright, so what we're gonna be doing now is a bit of a mess. Who doesn't like a mess? Especially when we're talking about BMWs. Oil everywhere. Okay, I really want to see what's in this oil filter. And how do we do that? Well, that's been dripping here for a while. Hopefully it's not going to have too much oil left in it. But how do you crack an oil filter open? With a Stanley blade. Now this is a tiny little one. I'm not too sure if I'm going to be able to achieve what I really want with this guy. Maybe yes, maybe no. No, I should be alright. But you have to cut the paper, because this filter is obviously made of paper. You have to cut it all the way to its core, which is plastic. Ta-da! And then one of the sides just pops out. Now you do the same with the other one. Remember when I mentioned about the filter? That's the mesh filter in there. Now this is not gonna pop out because it's... Oh yeah, it did. Both sides popped out. Now this guy is out too. Nice. When you're looking at the filter, what you do want to do is, obviously the oil flows one direction, which is from the outside of the filter to the inside. So when you cut it open, it doesn't make any sense you look on the inside, because there's going to be no dirt in there. You gotta flip it around, spread it, and you're gonna try to see and search for anything that should be here, like some tiny particles of aluminum or maybe copper, or anything that is out of the ordinary. It doesn't look like anything unusual apart from some dirt. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Alright folks, so with the oil filter out of the way now, this video is coming to a conclusion, which is the main reason why we started in the first place. Analyzing both oil, this is the one that we took out of the engine, and this obviously is the brand new oil. Now you cannot really tell much by the color. The color of the oil doesn't reflect on its ability to perform inside of the engine. But I must say I'm quite surprised. I was expecting this oil to be a little bit cleaner than it is. It's pretty dark, and it doesn't look quite good. Bottom line is I'm happy I changed the oil today. Now I still cannot get my head around the 15,000 kilometers oil change that BMW recommends, especially for these engines, the air performance engines. And you do have to consider the three main reasons why we have oil inside of the engine. What's the role of the oil inside of the engine is, number one, to reduce friction, therefore reducing wear inside of the engine. Number two is the temperature control. The oil goes through the parts, it goes through the crankshafts, take the heat away from the crankshaft, for example, back to the oil cooler, and cycle through the engine again, doing the process over and over again through many of them, not just the crankshafts, but piston, rings, camshafts, everything that is rotating inside of the engine. You do have the heat transfer, and that's related to the oil to actually perform its role in refrigerating the engine. It's not just the coolant, no, it's definitely the oil. And then number three, which is cleaning the engine inside. If you actually think about it, you go, why do I need to clean the engine inside? Well, with all the wear going on inside of the engine, and especially as the engines get older, and you could see, there's another video when I'm disassembling the engine before the rebuilds. I had several shavings of like bits of copper, bits of aluminum, a lot of bits of plastics for the timing chains that they came undone. And the oil is actually carrying all this stuff away from the main parts back to the sump, and then it gets filtered through the filters. And nevertheless, the better the oil is inside of the engine, the better the engine is going to perform, and the lower the chance of you to have the so-called catastrophic failures, which would be a spun rod bearing, or the engine overheats, you break a piston. So come on, what was that? I paid $45 for the bottle. I bought two of them. There's $90 for the oil, another $19 for the oil filter, $109. If you can do that yourself, $109 for an oil change. Compared to if I go to the petrol station with the price that we are at today, I'm probably going to spend about $120, $130 to fill up the tank. Let's be honest, guys, we are driving performance cars. Let's treat them as such. And well, that's the bottom line for the video today. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and if you did so, please hit the like button, consider subscribing to the channel, and I think that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye for now.